oh God, the people here are f***ing fake. And I fell for all of it. I did.
All right, welcome back, everybody. We're back in beautiful Sin City, and we're here with Kelly. How you doing, Kelly?
I'm all right. How are you?
Good. I just met Kelly here on Boulder Highway. Do you live around here?
I live on the side of the road.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay. How long have you been homeless?
Beginning mid-pandemic.
Oh, okay. And then you had a place to stay in Vegas before?
Yeah.
Okay. Where are you from originally?
Long Island.
When did you come out here?
When I was 20.
Oh, so you're what now? 55?
55.
Oh, you've been here a while, huh?
Yeah.
Why'd you come out here in the beginning?
My dad said that it was the biggest growing city in the country, and he lived out here. And I was actually trying to get away from like organized crime. The guy that I was with, my son's father. Was,
Okay.
Yeah.
Before we get into your story, do you give us permission to use this video on our YouTube channel?
Yeah.
All right, let's take it back to Long Island. How was life over there?
Well, I moved from Long Island. Before I moved here, I moved upstate.
Okay. No, I'm talking about like early childhood, like from, I don't know, elementary to high school. Where'd you live?
I lived in Massac Beach, and I went to William Floyd High School.
Which one?
William Floyd.
Anyone famous come from that high school?
I don't know. I don't know.
You should look it up, because every high school has someone famous.
Really?
What kind of student were you in high school?
I was a good student. I was on the varsity gymnastics team.
Yeah.
I was in the bands. I was on the merit roll.
You're an honor roll?
Merit.
Merit roll.
AB,
Yeah.
and then last year I just wasn't doing very well because I didn't go. I was cutting out of school a lot.
So you were a great student, and then what'd you do after high school? Did you graduate?
No, I didn't graduate.
Okay.
I was given the opportunity to quit because I wasn't going to school, because I was cutting out and I was smoking weed all the time.
Okay.
And then I went. My mother said that I liked putting makeup on, and because I was going to the beach, and she said, "You're not gonna stay, sit around here." She says, "You're gonna go. You like put makeup on." She put me in Wilford Academy, cosmetology school.
Okay, so you finished cosmetology school?
No, I didn't. No, I was doing great. I loved it. I was in school with some, they were practically famous.
Yeah.
This girl I went to school, that I was going to school with, she was Greek. She had beautiful hair, from pork chop. Her hair was like this with curls. And she went out with John Waite one time.
With who?
John Waite. He's a pop singer.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. And when and then I wound up partying a lot, and my mother threw me out for crossing the property line after curfew, which was 10 o'clock, which was because she let my boyfriend move in the back apartment, because my brothers were all with my father, and my father, he lives in California, and I knew that, and he was a senior, I was a freshman. He was the guy that I lost my virginity with. He was the only guy I ever slept with in high school, although I was deemed a slut because one of the football players I thought he was really cute, and I used to sing these cheers. We had to watch him because of the gymnastics school.
Yeah.
I mean, because the coach for the gymnastics was going out with the coach for the football, and we had the worst in the league or in the whatever.
Yeah.
So we had to go support them at their games, and they had to support us.
Okay.
And then one day, it was I was sick. I was really sick. I was going, like I said, these private schools. I was on the varsity team when I was in elementary school.
Okay.
Or excuse me, junior high school, which I didn't think about at the time. That's actually illegal, but anyway. The teacher that got me to go to private school went to my house. I was so embarrassed. And he told my mother that I had talent, and my mother invested in me. And anyway, I was really sick, and it was a really important school we were competing against, and it was difficult. And they were like, "You gotta do this, because they were counting on me. And I did what I had to do, but I had broke out in hives and stuff, and I was so embarrassed because the football player was there. And he said, came and said hi to me, and my mother and her boyfriend were there. And then when I went home, I stayed home for a week, and he came over. I was like, oh my God, I was so embarrassed because I had no makeup on. And I was just like, I was embarrassed in my home too, and my brothers and their friends. And he said, he went to try to kiss me, and I was like, I kissed him, and he went like a little further. And then I was like, I'm sorry, I'm a virgin, and I want to keep my virginity till I get married. And he was like, oh, okay, and then he left.
Yeah.
And that was it.
And then he started rumors.
I didn't even know that he was going out with a girl for like 5 years, and she was like the badass girl on the hockey team or whatever the field. And when I went to school, back to school, everywhere in the school it said I was a slut. It was all vandalized, and it was so.
That traumatized you, huh?
Yeah, my mother was gonna take me out of the school and shit, but I wound up getting in a fight with the girl, right in front of everybody.
Man, so you did good in school, so you didn't have a learning disability or anything like that, or you didn't struggle with anything? Did you struggle with depression or anything like that?
I was molested.
You were molested at what age?
As far back as I can remember.
Really? Who was it?
My brothers. It was never penetration, but it was just, And then my one real brother, I'm the only one alive out of 7 now.
Okay.
I had 5 brothers and a sister. My one brother died when I was 2, and it's because my father accidentally killed him, and no investigation or anything. How? He was drunk, and he beat my mom, supposedly. I don't have no memories of it. They all do.
Yeah.
And he beat her, and he used to have girlfriends, and I can't even believe they were together. I cannot, because my mother is so completely the opposite of him. When I did finally meet him, I found it hard to believe that they were ever together. And I guess my brother was a deaf mute that was slow.
Okay.
He had 1 kidney, and my father said, keep messing with that dog, you're gonna get it. And he kicked him in the 1 kidney he had, and took him to the hospital.
He kicked him?
And then 1 kidney that he had.
Wow.
And it took him to the hospital, and it was in 1969. They didn't really look into
Investigate.
it. And he died, yeah. And I was, so when I met, and all I was ever told my whole life was that my father was the lowest piece of shit ever walked the face of the earth, and this and that. And after a while, I started getting like, God, and I started seeing things about my mom. My mom she did everything for her kids. She was always working. She just wasn't there. And she didn't really want, come to find out, she didn't really want, all my other siblings were planned, but she didn't plan me. She didn't tell me until I was 39 that I was a result of a rape.
What?
I was a result of my father raped her. And back then, I guess she just had to have you. And it kind of made sense why she never really told me that she loved me. And so, after I had a son.
Do you want a napkin?
No.
Or tissue? No?
No.
I'm so sorry.
But my mom died just recently.
Recently?
Not this past July, but the July before. It's recent.
So you were close to her up until?
Well, I heard that she was staying with, and she listened to my one brother, We're the Two Bastards, by my father.
Yeah.
The other ones were all hers from her husband, and she was the black sheep because she was divorced, and nobody ever divorced in the families. She was born in 1930.
Italians?
No, no, we were surrounded by them. we were Irish and German.
Okay.
And what do you call it? So she was the black sheep because of that, and everything was a secret. And my mother kept everything as a secret. She didn't even tell me my sister died. My sister was like my mother, and she died when I was 9. And I just remembered all my relatives coming over, and I was wondering, why is everybody crying? And some voice inside of me said, where's Kathy? And when I asked her that, she said Kathy was with the angels. She just got choked up, and that was the length of the talk.
Well, all your siblings passed away?
Yeah.
Every one of them. Oh my. Natural causes, or were they?
My sister died of cystic fibrosis.
Oh.
She knew she was sick, but she didn't know she had fatal. Like she wasn't going to live past 20. We shared a bedroom, and that was devastating to me. I remember she took me to the hospital, I guess, and I always used to think that it was my fault because she used to cough a lot, and we had a vaporizer in the room because of her sickness. And she always had to eat lamb chops, and sometimes we'd be eating hot dogs, and she'd be mad that she was eating lamb chops. I don't know why, because it was so much better. But anyway, my mother just took me to the hospital when she took me there. My sister was I remember my sister saying, "Why did you bring her here?" And I never could really understand. I never had really anyone to talk to. I started getting a lot of information from my crippled brother. He was deformed and he was in a wheelchair. He was the only graduate out of 7. He was the only one that graduated. And the reason why I think he graduated is because they picked him up and put him in a truck and drove him there. And anyway, I found a friend on my own besides my best friend Inez, Jerry Lynn. And she lived, there was our house across from it was an empty woods. And then there was houses all the way up to the end, which was the water. And through the woods there were paths, and then through the paths was Jerry Lynn's house. And Jerry Lynn come from a good family that mother and father were together, and they were young, and mother was a bus driver, she was PTA, the father was a coach for the baseball, and in their backyard was a baseball diamond. She had 2 brothers, and everybody was playing baseball, and I hate baseball, and I softball. Because I never learned how to throw. I still can't throw for shit. I'd be afraid of the ball if it was. And then Jerry Lynn wound up where she had to be on the same team as me, so she always had to be on like messed up teams because I wasn't that good. And my mother offered her money, and I mean everybody else would say your mother loves you. My mother wouldn't say anything. But it wasn't until after I had the last 2 babies I couldn't take birth control. I was allergic to it. I've been pregnant a lot. And
how many kids do you have?
I have had 4, but I've only raised 2.
Oh, okay.
The other 2 are adopted.
So what kind of drugs do you currently use?
I use weed and meth.
Meth? And then when did you start using drugs?
When I was 13.
13?
I smoked weed.
Yeah, what about the hard drugs?
It was just weed for the longest.
You think?
15.
15.
I started doing coke.
You think weed is a gateway drug?
Yeah.
Is it to other drugs? And you started at 15. What was the reason for using it at such an early age?
Everybody in my house, all my brothers, that's all they did. They got high and they drank.
Were you neglected a lot growing up?
Yeah, but absolutely. But my mother wasn't there, that's why.
Were you ever in the system? Did you ever go to foster care or anything like that?
Nope. But they were gonna, my friend's mother was gonna have them look into it.
Yeah.
But I stopped her because I told her that if she did that, I was protecting my mother, I thought, because my mother couldn't handle a lot of stuff. And I knew that would really hurt her. And so I said that if she did that, I was gonna have to tell them about her father, my friend's grandfather, who had tried to molest me. And then nothing happened.
Okay. So you said you've been a working girl before. How long have you been doing that?
I've just really been doing it to survive, really.
Yeah. When did you start?
I've done some tricks when I was smoking crack, and I had a house, and I was with this guy, and it was just never enough, never enough. That was almost seemingly like the worst. And I was on methadone.
Okay.
I did some tricks then for a little bit. I was never I never had my heart in it.
Oh, okay.
I never, because I just didn't.
What's the strangest trick you ever had?
Some guy that wanted to.
What?
He wanted to pay me for my shit. I know. Actually, see, I'd never attract these weirdos. This girl was saying, I said, bullshit.
Yeah.
I said, dude, that's bullshit. So where is this guy? And then she introduced me.
So he paid for it?
Yeah, well, first I would, I used to actually, after I came out here and I danced, and I never thought I would do that. That was actually therapy for me.
Okay, stripping?
Yeah, I was
full nude or?
Nude, yeah.
Okay.
I was so messed up, I didn't realize how messed up I was because I had a really nice body because I was a gymnast, and but I was ashamed. I had so much shame that I would take my clothes off under the blankets, walk backwards. And that's really crazy, you know what I mean? My mother, I've never seen her naked, ever. And I seen her one time changing her bra, and she screamed like she was getting murdered, and I ran out. And then when I meet my father, he's there because his mother died, and then my brother's getting in all kinds of trouble, so my mother thinks it's time to send him with him. He lies and says that he owns a nightclub, but he really owns a swingers club.
You said your dad owned a swingers club?
Yeah, he's supposedly the biggest one in Hollywood. And
in LA?
Yeah.
He's alive still?
He died. His best friend and business partner was tag team champion Jerry Christie and the Cult Brothers, and he was married to Miss Canada of '69.
So your dad knew them?
Well, that was his best friend and business partner.
So he had a swingers club. Was your dad a swinger?
I guess. And he was a nudist too. He dropped me off.
He was a nudist?
He took me to the nudist of the first, the annual nudist, like the 30. Yeah. I went to the very first one.
How old were you?
13.
You went to a nudist colony.
My dad took me. He lied to me. He told me he was taking me to the beach.
Were you ever married?
No.
Did you ever become a swinger? Mm-mm. Okay. It didn't influence you?
I mean, I've always, I have morbid, curiosity. Yeah. But I've never.
What's some of your morbid curiosities?
Oh, God, that's crazy. I was hooked on rotten.com. All kinds of morbid shit.
Are you interested? Does that fascinate you?
It's just like, I don't know. I just have a natural, I always have.
Have you had any morbid fascinations or fantasies?
I don't know. I was addicted to porn for a while.
You've been here since the late 80s. Mm-hmm. What's the difference between the people there in Vegas?
Oh God, the people here are f***ing fake. And I fell for all of it. I did. I bought all into it. The beautiful weather, the sky. There's no rust on the cars. There's no dead animals on the street. Everybody's so nice, but it's all an act. Yeah, and people, there's no loyalty here at all.
Has Vegas changed in the last 30 years, 35 years?
Yeah. I was never on the street, so now my whole life is limited to just people that are on the street.
On the street. Where were you staying before that?
I was staying in Nevada Ranch, a gated community.
What's your message to young people wanting to get into prostitution? And to be honest.
It's just, I think dirty money nothing becomes of it.
What about drugs? What's your message to young people wanting to get into drugs?
Don't
do it. What's drugs taken away from you?
Everything.
Everything? Your children?
In a sense, yeah.
How old are they?
My son is 37 and my daughter is 27.
You still talk to them?
Yeah.
What's your message to them?
I love them. And my son, I can't reach him, I don't know.
What if he's watching this? Maybe we can get you an email. Do you have an email or a Facebook?
I have a Facebook.
Okay, what's your Facebook name?
Kellyanne Farmer.
Spell that?
KELLYANNE Farmer, FARMER.
Okay, on Facebook? Okay, yeah. And maybe we can get you an email set up today.
Okay.
And we'll put it in the description. If he sees this, what do you want to tell him?
I wish that he would try to get clean.
Okay, he's struggling too?
Yeah, he's with, his girl she's black, and it's just, things are just so different. It's a whole different, it's a culture, everything changed, that he's more, in tune with that. He relates more to that. I don't know.
His girlfriend is black?
Yeah.
And he relates more to that? Do do you have an issue with his girlfriend being black, or do you think they're just different?
No, I don't. I don't. I trust her. I don't.
It's not because she's black. You just
no.
You don't trust her. Okay.
Right. I mean, I want it. I've tried to love her.
Yeah.
I really have. But what happened with my mother? They took my mother from me.
Yeah.
And I believed it. They told me that the authorities didn't want me around her, and I thought, oh my God, is it because of And they used her. I brought her out here because, and I told them what I was going to do. I told them I was bringing my mother out here. She was going to get me away from this guy that I've been living off of and taking, becoming dependent on. And I was going to also go through some things with her that I thought was necessary for her, because I wanted her to go to heaven. And I found out a lot of things later that were just mind-blowing.
Don't take this the wrong way, but do you feel sometimes that your family's cursed, or your situation?
I feel like maybe I do, because my son is my only son, and besides my brother who died, is the only farmer. And I have him, I have a daughter, but she has her dad's name. My son doesn't have his father's name because I listened to my son's, my brother's girlfriends, and said that I didn't know where the father was, and he didn't have his name. And he has had 9 kids by 3 different people, and even when he married once, he did not give any of his kids his name. And I thought that was really interesting. And the only other person that could pass on the name, because my brother died, is the only son that he had, and he is gay and in prison. He's been in prison.
Your son?
No, my son, my nephew.
Let's go back to your son's girlfriend now. What is it about, you think she's trying to keep your son away from you?
Sometimes I do. Yeah. Sometimes I do. Yeah. But it's more than that. Well, they were giving me money to help my son go into the Samaritan house.
Oh, okay.
And I wanted him to stay there because he liked it. And he would go there, and then he would go spend the day with her, and she was still using. And I knew it was only a matter of time. Yeah. I was going out with this guy that was staying by the cartels, and I said, please don't rent anything. I said, I don't want to sit here every day being with you and watch him lose and destroy his life. And of course they let him in, and it was a house that had apartments behind it.
Is there a reason you're using drugs? Is it like a void you're trying to fill, or some other reason?
I'm not in a position where if I were to stop, I would sleep a lot, and I don't have that luxury right now.
Yeah. Have you ever had periods of sobriety?
I was in the program, and it was great.
Which program?
At the time, it was called WINNER, Women in New Recovery.
Oh yeah, how long were you sober?
A year. Sober, I'm talking like recovery. Yeah.
That's awesome. Were you working and stuff? Or?
Yeah.
Yeah? What caused you to slip?
Oh, this guy that I met at a Cocaine Anonymous dance.
Yeah. Cocaine Anonymous dance?
Yeah.
Okay.
He was just so energetic, and I was attracted to his energy. Yeah. He acted like he was on drugs, but he wasn't. Yeah. And he was loud, and he knew the Bible inside and out, and I really liked him, but I didn't, sleep with him or anything because I was in the program. Yeah. And then when I got my apartment, I was going to celebrate my year, and I had the cake, and I invited some admirable people like Billy Earl was someone I really admire. He started Cocaine Anonymous.
Okay.
Now I had a what do you call it? I had a commitment with a meeting that I took, which was on a Friday night, and it was most meetings are an hour. This was an hour and a half. It was a hospitality meeting. It was a chip meeting. People got up and spoke, and on my birthday it was a big deal, because they see me every day, and it was the guy who I liked, Santos or Raymond. He came and he goes, "You're not going anywhere," and he had an 8-ball and 2 syringes, and I was like, "Get out of here!" And I didn't make it. I gave in.
And you slipped. All right. Do you plan on trying sobriety again?
Yeah.
Okay, you know the program AA?
Yeah, AA is what I was told to go.
AA. Okay, do you know where to go for help in Nevada if you wanted to get clean?
I think so.
I can give you.
I did. You know what? I went. I was. They came. Shine the Light came to the desert, and they misled me and this guy that I've been with, that we were going to be going in there together, and it never happened. I mean, it was in detox, and they told us we had to get up and go, that we were going to go to separate places, and he didn't want to. He said, heck with this, we'll go to some other place, and we never did go to another place. But I was really, I mean, we gave all of our stuff away that we had accumulated. I know where to go, but I don't know if I'm going to be able to be placed anywhere.
Yeah. Where do you want to see yourself in 2 years?
Oh, I would like to see myself working in my own place.
What's the best concert you've been to?
I think I've only been to one concert.
Which one was that?
It was Robert Plant.
Well, what were you listening to in high school? In the 80s?
Oh, Joan Jett, Pat Benatar,
yeah.
Led Zeppelin. Yeah,
all right. You didn't go to any of those concerts back in the day?
No, I went and I paid for the tickets for me and my boyfriend to go to Billy Squier.
Yeah.
And we did some mescaline or acid, and we never made it. We made it there, but it was already almost over, you know.
Yeah.
Stupid.
What's one song you don't get sick of listening to?
Kid Rock, Only God Knows Why.
All right, that's a good one. What's your favorite dish?
I love lasagna. I love pizza.
Yeah.
I love food.
Okay.
Definitely.
What's going good for you in life?
That I'm still alive, I guess.
Yeah.
I don't know.
You feel blessed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm so sad about my mom. She passed away alone because of this bullshit COVID thing. And
she died from COVID?
No, she did not. No, but they had these rules for the elderly.
What do you mean BS COVID thing? What happened?
I watch Alex Jones, and I believe most of what he speaks on. And he was just sued for some odd $1 trillion, which is insane.
I heard about that.
Yeah, I believe with the stuff that he says.
Yeah.
I really do. That's the stuff I watch on YouTube. That, or what's going on with, politics. I've never in my life cared about politics until I found how serious.
Well, before we let you go, what are you doing now? What's your plans for tonight?
I'm just gonna get a little bit of stuff.
Okay.
I'm gonna do it, and then I'm gonna gamble a couple of dollars. That's all I have.
Yeah.
And then I'm going to the hospital.
Okay. What are you doing at the hospital?
I've been putting it off. Yeah, I had a tube in my back.
Okay.
For kidney stones. Urine was passing through the tube.
Oh.
Got that taken out and got the kidney stones done. And that was so scary because I had to go on a breathing machine and I don't have a full set of lungs. Oh. And that went okay, except for the fact that, they had put a stent in me and they never did cure the urinary tract infection I had. So I didn't even understand how they did the surgery, but they did it. And I now have when it was over, I felt good for a couple of days, and then I just felt like the urinary tract infection never was gone. And come to find out that I have a bladder infection, and they can't remove the stent because if I have an infection, I can't remove it, and it is just so painful. I don't even have a desire for sex like I used to.
All right, when you work on the streets, were there men that you wouldn't date?
Yeah, I wouldn't date someone filthy, or I wouldn't date some certain times. I wouldn't date black guys.
Okay.
Because
why is that?
The reason why I say that I don't say because I have dated some black guys. It's not that I won't date them, period. But some of them, if they're too thug, I won't. If they look like they're going to be huge, I won't, because I'm in pain anyway, and I really, for the most part, don't really do.
How do you know if they're going to be huge? You said they're going to be.
Yeah,
huge.
you look at their hands and their feet, or you can listen to their talk and how they're, and they.
Well, yeah, this is interesting because I study. I mean, I love studying the mind. You're saying that you can tell when someone's endowed by the way they talk? Okay.
Well, usually they'll let you know.
Oh, that's like, yeah, okay.
They'll let you know. Yeah.
How
Or
does that come up? Like, what they just say?
well, I remember how they would be grabbing their
Yeah.
that, or they'll just start talking dirty, and you can tell.
Oh, okay.
But then again, there's been some that'll say, and I've said, and I almost wanted to laugh at the one because I went out with him and I was in a relationship, but he used to say that he was going to take his big dick.
Yeah.
And I'm thinking, where? not you.
So you've dated a black guy too?
I've been with one in a relationship.
Okay.
Black guy, but he was half black.
Okay.
His mother was black and his father was Puerto Rican.
Okay.
Northtown cops killed his.
You ever dated anyone else, like a Middle Eastern guy or Hispanic guy?
Yeah.
Have you? Who's the best relationship you had?
I think maybe it was my daughter's father.
Daughter's father?
Sam.
Okay. Is a good man?
It's great.
Any men in your life that you look up to? That were good men, honorable men?
They're dead.
Huh?
They're dead.
They're dead? Who were they?
Well, Sam was one. Another guy, Jerry. But I looked up to them in one way, but not. I wouldn't necessarily look up to them like I would want to be their wife.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Why?
We were talking before. You were talking about your experiences with ghosts. Can you get into that?
I was my cousin Christy, I believe. She used to her hobby. She had a Volkswagen on Long Island, and she used to do gravestone etchings. And she took me because I was staying with her for a while, and at my aunt's. And when we went and we did them, I remember I was like real happy about the one I did. It was this guy Lloyd, and it was old. And I remember when I opened it up and took it home, and my brother's friends were there, and my brothers. As soon as I opened it up, the power went out. It was like, and then they were, oh my God, they were talking about the William Floyd estate. He's someone that signed the Declaration of Independence. His estate is intact, like where you can go and view it like a museum. And they have it's wild. I mean, they have the graveyard for the people that in the family. Then they have the graveyard for the slaves. We went to the graveyard of the slaves. We took our dog, and as soon as we got there, the dog just ran in circles around the graveyard.
Yeah.
It was normal everywhere else.
And the dog ran in circles.
Is that crazy? It was crazy, yeah.
Were you guys high or no?
No, I wasn't. No.
The dogs ran in circles, and then what happened? You guys freaked out?
It was just freaking me out. It was like, oh my God,
Okay.
And then I met a girl, Anne, in high school, and she had been somebody that was in tune and had, I guess, an imaginary friend when she was little. And her mother seen the thing, and she was in black magic, and I just started to get into it, and I stopped. I just got really scared. I was really scared because I would feel things. I think I was suffering from what I now believe. It took years of me never going to a doctor or anything, but I've come to find that what it was sleep paralysis. That really was, and I've always had the same nightmare, it was as a kid. I could never see it. It was just a feeling that I would get, and it was always when I was laying on my back, and I would get this feeling.
So you were telling me also experiences with aliens?
Yeah, well, I have it, but my brother and this guy, Santos, saw a ship land over there in by Sunrise.
What is that? What is it, with the Summerlin, or is that Henderson?
By Sunrise Mountain.
Okay.
And he has so many stories. God, you would really want to interview him.
Yeah.
He is unbelievable. Unbelievable.